The Colombian government says nearly 1,000 Venezuelan troops have fled across the border as that country's political crisis escalates, with the Maduro regime arresting opposition leader Juan Guaido's chief of staff, accusing him of terrorism. Joining us now, Isaias Medina, former Venezuelan senior diplomat to the United Nations. Isaias, it's very good of you to join us. I know you must be extremely concerned about what's going on there, but what do you say to the American people who haven't heard of some of the horrors befalling the people of Venezuela under the Maduro regime?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, John. I have to say this protracted humanitarian crisis has already taken the death toll of at least 500,000 lives of innocent children, women, and men, just for social control of a criminal regime that has made the suffering and death of Venezuelan civilians its priority to maintain power and control. It is important to understand that we need to turn the dial up, and our interim constitutional president, Juan Guaido, should request an international humanitarian intervention, which is no other than the collective concern of the international community to protect the civilian population that has been exterminated currently in Venezuela by weaponization of medicine scarcity, no running water, blackouts, controlled blackouts, and also starvation. So it is very important to address this issue, and the U.S. Trump administration has been essential to move forward and to try to corner diplomatically this regime to try to find a way out.
President Trump is saying that U.S. sanctions and pressure on Venezuela could get a lot tougher. Here are some recent remarks from the president on that.
At some point, I would imagine things will change, but we really haven't done the really tough sanctions yet. We can do the tough sanctions, and all options are open, so we may be doing that. But we haven't done the toughest of sanctions, as you know. We've done, I would say, right down the middle, but we can go a lot tougher if we need to do that.
It sounds like you would advocate that the president get tougher on the Maduro regime.
It's very important before it's too little and too late, John, to move forward full strength and try to save as many people as we can. As you've noticed, the humanitarian aid is right in the border. People can see that there's a huge effort by the international community, but there is no way to bring it in. So they have denied it for years, the humanitarian crisis, and now they're blocking the aid. So as the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights expressed a couple days ago, this has become already the human rights violations and crimes against atrocity are a destabilizing factor for the region, and also it is a threat to the maintenance of peace and security in the American hemisphere, like the German ambassador at the Security Council has already mentioned twice. So it is very important to act early to try to prevent more deaths and suffering of the Venezuelan civilian population.
Meantime, forces loyal to Nicolas Maduro apparently kidnapped Juan Guaido's chief of staff, Nicolas Marrero. As far as we know, Roberto Marrero. Yes. As far as we know, he is still being held hostage. Our Secretary of State commented on that. Listen.
We will make sure that the world knows who those people were. We will do all that we can to hold those specific individuals who engage in this conduct that is so deeply antithetical to what the Venezuelan people have demanded, the democracy that we demand in Venezuela. We will do all that we can to hold the individuals accountable, those who conducted this activity, and those who ordered it.
Do you have any updates on Roberto Marrero?
Well, what I can tell you is that it's of no surprise that false accusations, false charges, arbitrary detention, torture, rape as a tool of violence in a country without the rule of law has become the standard trend. Nonetheless, as you have noticed, they have applied asymmetric warfare tactics like strategic deception, for example. So they have become better liars than we are at telling the truth. These are the words of Joseph Humira a couple of weeks ago at the Hudson Institute. So it is of no surprise that presently we have 1,000 civilians and at least 200 military political prisoners being tortured as we speak. And of course, they will try to get to Juan Guaido's closest circle, and this is what they did with his chief of staff. And I don't think this is going to stop here. And I am grateful that the Trump administration is aware and acted steadfastly in this situation. But we need more action and stronger sanctions to see the end of this terrible apocalypse.
It appears the Trump administration is with you on that. Isaias Medina, it's good to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
A walk among the stars and a